haunted by something evil. Their dad, in true dad fashion, thought they were making it up, doing it themselves, acting out in light of the death of their mother. But then one evening, the knocking was no longer coming from the walls, but from the basement. What the girls discovered was a message written in blood. It said, "I'm in your room. Come and find me." Well, I noped the hell out of there. That's exactly what they did too. And they went to a neighbor's house while they called their dad and they waited for their dad to show up. And the dad's response was to put them into counseling to help them cope. Now, not a bad idea in the first place, but again, he still thought it was them simply acting out. Over the next few weeks, the events continued. Other messages such as, "I'm back, find me if you can," family pictures pinned to the walls with a knife, and all of it yielded the same results. Frightened daughters, a disbelieving dad. But finally, this time with that last message, when Frank checked out the home, he found it in even worse condition than the girls had described. They had said one thing, and it was far beyond what they had even told him. And then in Tina's room, Frank found a message in blood on the walls that said, "Marry me." Frightening enough, but even more so was what was on the other side of the room. A figure in a wedding dress with a hatchet in his hands. Danny Laplante stood in a wig and makeup and must have given Frank the fright of his life. Laplante managed to escape after some tussle, and Frank called the police. He told them it seemed like he'd almost just disappeared into the walls. The police determined the messages had been written in ketchup and began their search of the house. Soon they discovered a cupboard built into one of the walls in Tina's room, and behind that cupboard was a crawl space. And in that crawl space was, you guessed it, Daniel Laplante. After he'd been arrested and removed, they kept up the search, finding that the hiding space led to tunnels all throughout the house, as well as peepholes for observation. Talk about frightening. That's even worse than a ghost in your house, personally, if you ask me. Laplante was sent to a juvenile facility, and that should have been the end of him, right? Well, that's where you'd be wrong. Do you need a refill? You might consider it before we get to the next part. This is where our story turns from almost lore to gruesome humanity. Fair warning, there's some graphic stuff ahead, so proceed with caution. You see, Laplante was released from the facility in October of '87. He went immediately back to burglary, and during one of them he actually managed to obtain 2 handguns for his theft. In December that same year, he committed the acts he is most known for, the murders of the Gustafson family. Andrew Gustafson arrived home to a sight more horrific than anyone could think of. He found his wife Priscilla face down in their bed. She had been shot multiple times after having been raped by Daniel Laplante. She was 33 years old, and at the time of her death, she had been pregnant with their 3rd child. Andrew's 5-year-old son William was discovered drowned in the upstairs bathroom, and his 8-year-old daughter Abigail had met the same fate in the downstairs bathroom. The murder was quickly linked to Laplante, who had skipped town and broken into a woman's home and kidnapped her and taken her with her vehicle. Thankfully for her, she managed to escape, and Laplante had been spotted. Within 48 hours, he was discovered in a dumpster. Hair belonging to sweet little Abigail Gustafson was found in his sock. Thanks to that evidence and other key points, he was sentenced to 3 life sentences for the murders of Priscilla, Abigail, and William. In 2017, he appealed for a lighter sentence, claiming he was sorry and he was reformed. Do you think that's the case? Me? No. And it's a comfort to know that his appeal was denied, and Laplante will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Sadly, Andrew passed away in 2014, so he did not get to hear that the final appeal was denied, but you have to imagine it's some kind of comfort. Ironically, the story at the beginning did not come to light until after the murders. So, how's that for hello? I hope you enjoyed listening as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. I appreciate your patience while I learn along the way. I promise to get better. Do you have a story you want to share with me? Or do you have a story you want to talk about? Feel free to send it to me at coffeecrimestorytime@gmail.com. Thanks for hanging with me today, and until next time.